Night, the Democracy Now! Team rushed down to Zuccotti Park to cover the police crackdown. It began just after 1 a.m. We were there until the early hours of the morning coming in to do this broadcast. We witnessed the arrests in the streets and made it into the square just as police were dismantling the tents as well as sanitation workers and hauling away protesters' belongings in dump trucks. This is our report.
It's the people, brother! 99%! You are the 99%!
Tell us your name if you want to, and then what happened.
My name is Alex Hall, and I basically heard a tip from reporters. They were outside the park about an hour before it happened, and we asked them, "Hey, what's going on?" And they said the cops are planning on, clearing the whole park out. So, an hour later, they basically surrounded the park, at least 100 to 200 cops, and with the shields that were across their faces, and they basically put up huge beams of light into the park on every side. They had about 3 beams on every side of the park. Got super bright, and they came with a loudspeaker. There was a ton of them, at least 100 to 200, and they lined up in front of the park, on all sides of the park, but they lined up in the front on Trinity Avenue, and they came with a loudspeaker. They said, "Listen, we're gonna need you guys to clear the park. We're gonna take out the tents and get the sanitation team in here, and you can come back to the park without your tents. You won't be able to have your tents in the park." And they basically started pushing people. They started tearing down tents. They started to break them down, and without even checking if anybody was in the tents, but they started pushing everybody around.
Without checking if anybody was inside the tents, they started just breaking them down?
They basically started pulling them and stepping on them, yeah. And everybody started to leave the park, and this is where we are basically. Everybody kind of rushed out. They started pepper spraying people. I had milk here. I actually was helping somebody get the spray out of their eyes, and this is where we are right now.
Please clear the street and the sidewalk.
Where are we supposed to go? Where do we go?
Don't block the street.
There's a confrontation over here. So now we're still on the sidewalk, and police are pushing these protesters back. They told us to get off the street, so people complied, and now we're being pushed further and further away from Zuccotti Park, from Liberty Plaza, where just moments ago protesters were cleared. Hey, Hero, what's going on?
We're sitting there, they're trying to block us, they're pushing us to the wall. I got pepper spray straight in the face. You see, I'm still looking. They can't stop me. They can't stop us. This is a sign. He pepper sprayed me straight like that. You see this? You see this? Twice. Twice I'm pepper sprayed, and I'm still looking at you, part and clear.
This is a piece.
Sure and clear, I'm still staring at you. That's a sign that they can't stop us, that we all see what's really going on, and that they can't blind us. They can't pull wool over our eyes. They can't put nothing in our eyes that's going to blind what's going on here. And the same goes for all the people who are out there.
Where were you when the police first moved in?
I was 2 blocks away. 2 blocks away. Didn't know what was going on. And then I got a phone call. Where are you at? We're being raided. So I had to run to this, straight into this.
And what do you tell people right now?
What do I tell people? That this is ridiculous. Soon, we're coming back. They're not leaving. Get that straight right now. We're not going nowhere. A lot of us are going to be here overnight. A lot of us will be here for the rest of the week. A lot of us will be here until the new year comes. A lot of us will be here until we see a new day, and you can quote me on that.
So tell me what happened.
I was standing on the outside of the crowd. They started really beating up on this girl pretty badly with the riot shield, and while people tried to pull her out, they sprayed pepper spray directly into this little clump of people. I was right on the side, but I'm okay.
So what's going on now is a familiar scene. We're getting pushed farther and farther away from Zuccotti Park. At every block, police are saying to the protesters, you have the choice to be arrested or move further and further away.
Right now, it's going to be arrested. If you don't move out of here right now,
Where do they move to? Where do they move to?
Let's go. Push this out. Push this out.
So this commanding officer right here telling everyone to push people further away. Now it looks like everyone on the inside here is going to be arrested. Look at somebody arrested right in front of me. So now we're back where we started off, a block from Zuccotti Park. When we got here, there were throngs of demonstrators protesting the raiding of Zuccotti Park, Liberty Plaza. They were pushed further and further away. Activists that were on the sidewalk were told to keep moving down, and they were asking where should we go, and they were just told to move. And what we witnessed was a very forceful interaction with police even refusing to tolerate activists staying on the sidewalk, obviously wanting to get people as far away from Zuccotti Park as possible. And so now we're seeing these trucks behind us pulling away. They've arrested many people. And so as we tried to come back here to this area just a block from Zuccotti Park, we spoke to one of the activists that had been arrested. Hey, tell me what happened.
I was being pushed and shoved, and I had no way to move, and the lady firsthand singled me out and pinned me down and said to her, arrest her, pushed me face down into the sidewalk, and now I'm arrested.
New York, Cairo, Wisconsin, precious town will rise again.
So tell us what happened.
It's your typical breakup of any protest. Just a little bit more peaceful done than a little bit others. I mean, bottom line is, during the day, the officers ended up putting on their gear. Kind of first inquiry that something might happen, then all the vendors that were around should have been closed like any other given day, like they're closing up, but they all did it at once. Something was going on. Next thing you know, we're told to leave the park. Flyers are being handed out telling us the reasons of why, and that the tent's going to go, grab our belongings, to vacate as quickly as possible. And then the bullhorn started coming on. People started, the announcements started coming. If you're going to go ahead and go. If you're going to stand and you're going to hold our ground, they're going to be in the kitchen area. So they all are in a soft lock arm right now.
How many are in there right now?
I'm going to say there's roughly about, give or take, 250.
Protesters, then how many police?
I'm going to say there's maybe 3 police officers at least for every protester.
And tell us what you saw with the tents. We were hearing that police had announced they were coming in to clear the tents.
From my visual observations, from what I can tell, simply they would push in a little bit, and they would start ripping tents out.
The NYPD has no idea what they've done. This is the worst possible action they could have taken before the anniversary, because this is either going to sway in different, this is definitely going to sway in different people. And that's what it boils down to. Everyone who was out there that saw this on TV and said it was no big deal and that we were just goofing around, do you think the NYPD would have destroyed our camp if we were just goofing around, if we weren't some sort of threat to them? We are a health and safety risk. We have doctors and medics in there assessing the situation at all times. If there was any health or safety risk, we would have handled it. We have our own fire department. We have our own security team. We have our own medic team, certified EMTs, doctors, and nurses, ready to help. Sanitation crews cleaning the park 24/7. They never stop. We were never a health or safety risk, nor were we a fire hazard. Every tent, almost every tent, had a fire extinguisher in them. So don't believe their lies.
We're talking to George, who's locked down in the park right now. Can you tell us how many people are there? This is Amy from Democracy Now!, by the way. So, and just say, then, tell us everything that is happening. We're recording what you're saying. Just one sec. Go ahead.
My name is George Machado. I'm in the park right now. I am in this kitchen right now. The cops are surrounded the kitchen. Okay, there's about maybe 150 people surrounding us in the kitchen. Road change going on. They've cut down the trees. Okay.
So what's happened with the tents, and have people locked arms?
Yeah, people have locked arms around us in the kitchen. And then there's just like people behind, people locked their, and people locked around and locked their arms, and people behind the people locked arms sitting as well.
All right, so now we're right in front of these dump trucks that are taking away protesters' belongings. They've dismantled the tents, and we've seen these lines of police just throwing away the belongings of protesters. And now this one right here in front of us is full to the brim. It's packed with protesters' belongings. What's going on? What's going on?
Police are beating the people with billy clubs now. We're chain linked, but people are chain locked like this. The cops are beating them with billy clubs,
sticks.
And they're coming in and they're jabbing at them with poles and beating them with billy clubs. and they're hitting women, they're hitting children, they're hitting everyone.
Talk about what you saw. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's police abuse. They're abusing the people in there right now. They're abusing their rights. They said, oh, he's subject to arrest, but he was subject to get your head smashed in? Are you subject to get killed? Well, how far are they going to go? How far are they going to take it?
Are you a medic?
And they do everything I have was in my tent.
Until they started beating people.
Up here. They put in garbage trucks. My property. The city better reimburse me. I got receipts for my property. City better reimburse me.
What did they take of yours? What did they take?
They took everything me and my wife own. Everything. My name's Matt.
Matt, what's your last name?
Baldwin. This is my wife, Liz.
Where are you from?
I'm from Boston. My wife's from Philly. We married and live here. We had trouble getting housing, so we decided to join this. We had a big work. I couldn't get work, so we couldn't get housing.
So, Amy, we're walking through this rubble here of this encampment.
We're walking along the encampment. There are hundreds of riot police inside. There was a report of pepper spray. People came out, said that some of the people were being beaten, and we're standing in the midst of the encampment rubble.
And we're seeing no other journalists here. We're right in front of where police have surrounded the remaining protesters. We're told there's about 200 to 300 inside. They've locked arms, refusing to leave. We can see them now.
We're amongst the sanitation workers, and they're taking all of the tents and other paraphernalia into their garbage trucks right now. Although they said that they could come and pick up their tents somewhere else later tomorrow, this doesn't look like this is going to be something that's picked up.
Right here is a bookshelf, it looks like, in this rubble.
You know, one of the permanent installations at Zuccotti Park has been the People's Free Library, and it has thousands of books. I don't know if this is one of the bookshelves that was the Free Library.
Here's somebody's suitcase. So these are the belongings of people, and they've been told to come pick it up at a police site tomorrow.
What's going to happen with all this stuff?
Where are you taking this stuff?
Yes, to the dump.
Wait, say that again? Say that again? Say that again?
Don't say that. No.
You take it to the dump?
No. Listen, you gotta...
So now here we are walking through. We've made it onto the plaza, and we're approaching this kitchen area, the center of the plaza, where the remaining protesters have locked arms and refusing to leave.
I just picked up a book. It's Brave New World Revisited by Aldous Huxley. One of the proudest institutions in the park is the Free Library. It's not clear if this is what it's from. Okay. Gotta get out of here. Okay.
We wanted to try to talk to a few people that are still locked inside and see what they're saying.
Sir, please. All right, you got to please exit. All right, this way, man.
So now we're walking in what used to be the area where the tents were. You can see it's totally clear. There's nothing here anymore. It's all been dismantled. Police are still breaking things down and throwing them into trucks, into garbage bins. But this right here, just, you know, a few hours ago, this is where all these tents were. This is where people were sleeping for nearly 2 months. The 2-month anniversary is this Thursday. And now it's all been reduced to rubble. It's people's belongings on the ground. Here's someone's glove. Here's some food. Here's a little box that says to take on the Bank of America logo. It says Bank of No Social Value. And now it's all being taken away.
We're on the corner of Zuccotti Park, surrounded by garbage trucks, by police buses, by riot police, and by sanitation workers. They are clearing out this park. Word came out, just around 1 o'clock this morning. People did not have much time. A number of people have handed us this piece of paper, which was the eviction notice, that says notice of requirement to remove property from Zuccotti Park. What it claims is that the people will be able to return in a few hours without tarps and without tents. But people are locked down right now. We are being told we have to go across the street. So here we are, standing on the southwest corner of the park. As you can see, scores of sanitation workers are dumping the detritus of democracy into their garbage trucks. When we asked what they're doing with them, they said they're bringing it to the dump. And yet in this eviction notice that was served, it says, on behalf of the owner of the property, Brookfield Properties in the city of New York. I wonder, by the way, if Brookfield Properties has a note, you know, the famous line, produce the note if you own this place, that has to do with foreclosures. But at the end of this, it says, if you fail to immediately remove your property, we will do so and transport it to the Department of Sanitation parking garage at 650 West 57th Street, where you will be able to recover it as of noon today with proper identification. And yet, as we look across the street at the scores of sanitation workers who are dumping the property into garbage trucks, it is hard to believe that anyone will be able to recover their belongings. What we're seeing in front of us is democracy's debris. That report with Aaron Mate, Hani Massoud, Ryan Devereaux, Mike Burke, and John Gerberg. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. The one thing I was able to pick up from the grounds of Zuccotti Park was a book that had not yet been thrown into the dump truck, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World Revisited. On the back it says, when the novel Brave New World, now an established classic, first appeared in 1932, its shocking analysis of a scientific dictatorship seemed a projection into the remote future. It goes on to say, however, today the science of thought control has raced far beyond the totalitarian dreams of Hitler and Stalin. Numerous methods for curtailing individual freedoms have been developed, and the pressures to adopt them are increasingly powerful. Here, in one of the most important, fascinating, and frightening books of his career, Aldous Huxley scrutinizes these and other threats to humanity and explains why we may find it virtually impossible to resist them. This book is a plea that humanity should educate itself for freedom before it is too late. Just reading the jacket off of Brave New World Revisited by Aldous Huxley that was strewn at Zuccotti Park, just missed by the sanitation workers dumping the property of the protesters. Our senior producer, Mike Burke, is here with us right now just to give us an update. And Mike, as we're talking, Mayor Bloomberg is having a news conference, and he says just about 200 people have been arrested.
Right. Mayor Bloomberg, he also defended the raid last night. He said that the First Amendment protects speech, but it does not protect tents. And he also questioned the court ruling that we heard from earlier today that is allowing protesters back into the park. As we speak, there are a number of flashpoints right now in Lower Manhattan. Hundreds of protesters have been gathering in Foley Square for the past several hours. Many of them marched to City Hall to protest outside of Mayor Bloomberg's press conference. At 9 a.m., there's a large rally at 6th Avenue and Canal Street. And we've also received word that the park is now officially reopened. So hundreds of protesters are reconvening inside the park. So it's going to be a very interesting day in Lower Manhattan.
And the significance of it being on this day, about 1 in the morning, this surprise raid on the park, the significance of the big day that people were preparing for.
Right. Well, this was the 59th day of Occupy Wall Street. Thursday, November 17th, of course, marks the beginning of the third month of the protest movement. And there were mass actions across New York and across the entire country to mark the anniversary.
And the plans for that day now, very interesting to see the woman, the medic, who said this means Thursday is going to be particularly big.
Right. I mean, if you look at what happened, 6 weeks ago after the Brooklyn Bridge protests where the police arrested 700 people, the Occupy movement just grew, I think, significantly after that police crackdown. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw this really as a turning point for the movement.
Well, of course, we will continue to cover this. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.